Hello everyone and welcome back to Two Bros Hot Takes, where we watch a movie and then tell you if you should watch a movie. I am your movie watching host, Older Bro.
I'm your other movie watching host, Younger Bro.
And today we begin what may or may not become a tradition on Two Bros Game Night of the Summer Movie Marathon, because we have, for the next 6 weeks, one hot take every single week.
That's
so,
if we make it to the movie.
Yeah, and we will do everything in our power to make it to the movies. So
of course, we saw Spider-Man.
Yeah, I mean, that was the first one that came out. So, of course we started with the first one.
So,
By the way, you guys might be wondering, why didn't you start this last week with The Little Mermaid? And the answer to that is, the fuck would we have to talk about? It's The Little Mermaid. It's shit.
We would tell you
from
to
what
go watch the original.
From what I understand from people who did actually watch it, they've said that it's not actually that bad.
But I can't get across the animals just looking as generic as Lion King.
I have no desire to watch that movie.
I had negative desire to watch it when I saw the first teaser for it.
Yeah.
And then when I saw the first teaser for the Kraken movie, I'm like,
Kraken. It's like, yeah, it's great.
I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
I want to see that.
That movie, which we will go see, it is one of these 6 movies, guys, is the answer to what should Disney be doing instead of live action, which isn't actually live action because they're still animating it. It's just supposed to look like a National Geographic cartoon, remaking all their movies. Like, that's the kind of movie I want to see. I want to see the movie where Ursula is the hero, and it turns out that Ariel was a bitch in high school that tried to, like, fuck with Ursula because she wasn't a mermaid.
So you wanted Maleficent too? No,
I wanted Teenage Kraken.
But yes. Anyway, that's a different movie.
No, I liked Maleficent. I liked Wicked. I like those kind of movies. It's a great turn on their face of like, this is what you thought you knew about this universe, and so now let's just change something. Let's make a different kind of movie out of the same story.
Regardless, we're here to talk about Spider-Man. Now, was Spider-Man a good movie?
Why are you asking that question? Do you really think that Sony's gonna fuck up a Spider-Man movie? Ignore the Andrew Garfield stuff. That didn't happen. No, yeah, this is a great movie. I'm not even justifying this with a question of,
was it better than the first movie?
Well, what I was going to say was, I'm not even going to justify asking, does this pass Morbius test? Because that we're so beyond that. We're so past that, it doesn't fucking matter. So, do I think this is better than the first movie? I don't know if I want to say it's better than the first movie, but I want to say that it's more interesting than the first movie, in a sense.
It's more fan service.
Not even necessarily more fan service, but you're not wrong. But it's more, to me, they're trying to do something new and interesting. The first Miles Morales was sort of doing stuff that was new and interesting, but at the same time, it was still the standard Spider-Man movie. It was still the first movie where you get introduced to Spider-Man, even though they did skip quite a few things that you would normally see in one of those movies, because, I mean, it wasn't Peter Parker, so you didn't have to go through Uncle Ben dying again for the 8th time. But, yeah, at its core, it was still the superhero coming into his own movie. This is not that.
No.
So, this was definitely a new story for Spider-Man, and I'm very interested in it, and want to see more of it.
Like, they saw that Miles Morales was an interesting character. They're like, how can we make him even more interesting?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
my
they did.
God.
And I greatly enjoyed it. Now, there is one thing that I might normally say we put in the spoiler section. I'm not going to put in the spoiler section here, because I think that you guys need to know about this if you are going into this movie.
You should know.
So, this is still part 1 of 2. I know that they put in the original the original trailers for it. It's part 1. And then they drop that in all subsequent trailers. It is still part 1 of 2. There is another movie that's going to come out that finishes this story. So, it does end in the middle. So, prepare for that.
It won't even end after the next movie.
Well, I'm going to guess that it is going to wrap up this storyline in the next movie. I'm going to guess that the villain from this movie will be defeated and something new will happen after.
Yeah.
But I wanted to make sure you guys were aware. This is a part 1 of 2, even though they're no longer advertising it as a part 1 of 2. So, when you go in, prepare for that.
And it's probably also no spoiler that there are no end credits.
Yeah, there are no end credits in this movie because it's a part 1 of 2. So if there are going to be end credits, they will be in the next movie, not this one.
We'll go ahead and tell you that they did the Marvel thing of so-and-so will return in the
But
next
they
movie.
did it better because they actually said what they're returning in.
I know.
So at least we know what Spider-Man is returning in. The next Spider-Man movie, obviously.
Yeah.
But
so you would be sitting through the first end credits for that. Otherwise, there is no end credits.
Yeah, there's no end credits. You can just leave when the movie
Yeah.
ends. So, yeah, this is just a part 1. Don't bother with staying for the end
I'm
credits.
so excited for the next part.
I really am.
It's going to be so fucking
It was
good.
a very good... Here's the thing. Sorry if you guys can hear the storm in the background, by the way. It is raining right now. It's been very hot for the past week, and it's finally breaking. So, anyways. Point is, Spider-Man, for whatever reason, Sony is very good with non-live action Spider-Man. Like, I guess, like, original Tobey Maguire Spider-Man was good, but, like,
that was
Andrew
good.
Garfield, they kind of...
Andrew Garfield's first movie was alright,
Yeah.
and then the second
It kinda
movie,
fell off.
they... mhm.
But for whatever reason, they're kicking it out of the park. Or I guess they're hitting it out of the park with animated Spider-Man. Animated Spider-Man, they're just like, nope, done.
They
No
destroy
problems.
it.
Yeah. So if nothing else, I think that Sony does very good at making the animated universe. I really wish that they had a full-on partnership with Disney and Marvel to handle all the animated universe, and Marvel handle the live-action universe.
They
but
do have a
unfortunately,
contract.
well,
of
yes,
sorts,
but not that. What I want them to do is I want them to partner with Disney and be like, you will be all the MCU for the animated, and Disney will be all the MCU for live action. But they're never going to do that. So, what all do we want to talk about this movie before we get into the spoiler section? Because a lot of it's just gonna be
There's
spoilers.
not.
Like, I greatly enjoyed I enjoyed the
You
sound.
should go watch
Yeah.
it. That's what you should do.
You should go watch it. No, I greatly enjoyed the music in this movie. Like, it was very cinematic, very emotional in many places. I greatly enjoyed that. The characters are really good. Very enjoyable. Alright, but yeah, if there's nothing else that you want to go into, then I guess that we'll just move on to the spoiler section. There's going to be a lot in here. So,
alright,
yeah.
So this movie is, spoilers starting now.
Yeah, starting now.
So this movie is definitely mainly a Miles Morales and a Spider-Gwen movie.
I was going to say, this movie, honestly, maybe that's something that we should just include in the non-spoiler section. Most of this part's not going to really be that spoilery, but it's this movie is very much, actually, you start again. You start first.
Yeah, this is very much a Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen movie. That's pretty much the two characters we're focusing on.
Yeah, honestly,
mainly.
At first, I thought it was going to be a Spider-Gwen movie almost, because it
I
starts
thought it
out
was going
primarily as a Spider-Gwen movie.
It starts out with Spider-Gwen.
Yeah, but it does become a Spider-Man movie. Miles Morales, I guess, but he is Spider-Man. But you know what I mean. We have to differentiate in this movie since everyone is Spider-Man.
Yes.
So, it starts out with Gwen, and it ends up as...
She finds a version of the Vulture from the Renaissance, who I thought could have been from the Spider Knight dimension.
Mm-hmm.
But normally Spider Knight's dimension isn't.
Yeah, no, it's
was.
literally just the Renaissance. It's like a papercraft Renaissance time.
Yeah.
Da Vinci time.
So I didn't know if that... they changed a lot of designs of characters and how they move because they're all different.
Yeah.
Dimensions.
Well, and the other thing is that, here's the one thing. We don't even, for half of these, we probably don't even know if they changed them. Because there's so many Spider-Man that it could just be any other Spider-Man that's similar to that one.
But yeah, guys, before we continue, no, Spider-Knight does not appear in the movie.
Nope.
If he does, he's in the background somewhere, and I never noticed him.
Also, as a heads up, they did, as I said previously in a different review, I think I said this in a review, talking about this movie, Sony does not give a shit that Marvel thinks that their universe is 616, despite the fact that it's their universe and they get to set what number it is, because they explicitly talk about Doctor Strange and Spider-Man from Marvel and give it a 6-digit number that is not 616.
Not 1999.99.
Yeah, it's like 1999.99.
Like, why?
I don't know, but they are convinced. They're like, no, this is the number we're giving the MCU. And it's like, but why? Use their number. Who gives a shit what you think? It's their universe. It's their fucking... It's the... Marvel literally made the universes you are making this movie about. Just fucking call it 616.
Maybe they're under contract that they can't call it 616.
No, because
I'm not sure.
Here's the thing. I saw videos where the people, like some of the people from Sony were emphatic that they were saying that Marvel was wrong about it. It's not they're not allowed to use the number. It's they think that Marvel is wrong, that this universe is not 616. They're like, no, I know Feige says that, but it's actually this number. So, like, they are convinced that Feige is wrong.
It's to an extent, maybe, because it seems like 616 is going to have their version of Miles Morales.
I guess.
And maybe Spider-Gwen.
But again, it's just like, it doesn't make sense. Why do they care if Marvel chooses a number versus choosing a different number? They're arbitrary.
Regardless, like, Spider-Man, our normal Spider-Man, Peter Parker, and Miles Morales have never, ever been in the same dimension.
Yeah.
Ever.
No.
And they implied him in a cutscene that was cut from the movies, but everybody considers it canon.
To be fair, it's I wouldn't agree necessarily they've never existed in the same universe. It's that they have never been Spider-Man at the same time without Peter Parker dying.
Yes.
In that cutscene, he isn't actually saying that that he is Miles Morales Spider-Man yet. It's just that a guy named Miles Morales exists, which does normally happen. We just don't hear about him because he's nobody.
Regardless, both of them have never been Spider-Man around the same time.
Yeah, it's always Spider-Man dies and then he becomes Spider-Man. Or usually he gets the powers and then Spider-Man teaches him and then Spider-Man dies.
The new game, Spider-Man 2, they're going to be both Spider-Man at the same time. Yeah. Well, they already were in Miles Morales, but regardless.
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying. It's like, in Miles Morales, it was a situation where, like, he got the powers and then learned from Spider-Man, and then Spider-Man died. So Spider-Man was his own Uncle Ben, which was kind of weird. But then he also had... Yeah. He also had his own uncle. Which was also weird.
Yeah, the version we know from the movies, the Miles Morales version from the movies, he is not the same Miles Morales as we know from the comics.
Yeah, this is its own Miles Morales.
Yes.
So, but saving that for a little bit, because that's going to be a lot.
Okay, so Spider-Gwen is fighting Renaissance Vulture, and 2099 appears, and oh my god, he has one of the most sickest intros I've ever seen of any superhero.
Yeah.
What I didn't know about Miguel O'Hara was that he was a vampire. Normally, vampire usually has something related to a different Spider-Man, and that is Blood Spider. And they only called Blood Spider because the vampires of his dimension want to feed off of him. Regardless, I hope they didn't make him the same character. I mean, I know he has a similar suit, but
see, I was interested in the fact that because in this movie he does have to inject himself with stuff, which I'm assuming is blood, but like they didn't really go into it other than mentioning that he's a vampire once and that one shot, and otherwise they just don't talk about it ever again in the movie. So if they talk about it, I feel like it's gonna be a second movie thing.
I don't know too much about it because I never knew Spider-Man 2099 was a vampire. So
and it could also be a different 2099. Well, okay, hold on. For clarity, I have always assumed Spider-Man 2099 is the year. That's not the universe, right?
Okay. It's also the universe.
It's the year 2099 and the universe 2099.
Yes.
Oh, fucking hell. Okay.
Like, it's supposed to be in the future of 616, but it's
a split
separate.
off.
It's
Yeah.
a split.
Yeah.
Yes.
Which, by the way, guys, in this movie, they show a great animation of the universe tree, which was very cool, because you actually get to see what they mean by the timelines. And it's like, that's cool.
They saw the same kind of thing that you see in Loki, which is the branching in the timeline.
That's cool.
So they connected this movie with Loki and a bunch of different other movies that we'll get into later.
But and then they also showed off the spider connections, which was also cool. So it's like,
before you ask, no, Madam Web is not in this movie.
Yeah. Well, okay, so here's the thing. Madam Web is not in this movie. I joked with younger bro, because at some point in this movie, they show off a spider that I think is a living spider. He says it's a robot. I'm not sure. But its whole job is to teleport you back to your universe.
Yeah, that is a machine
I was like, did they ever give a name to that? Because if they'd called it Madam Web, I would have been pissed.
I would have left.
But
yeah, the whole thing about Madam Web is she is the Spider-Verse. She pretty much is the connection between all Spider-Man.
I was gonna
every universe.
It could be possible the next movie is going to be Madam Web.
Hope so. And I want her to tell Miguel O'Hara off a little bit. But regardless,
we'll get to that later.
So the other Spider-Man that wasn't in this movie, that was teased in a trailer, they seemed like she was going to be part of the main cast, but she wasn't in the movie. Very disappointing. Was Silk. Yeah. Silk is not in the movie, but they teased her.
Could be in the sequel or maybe not.
Like, Silk, I can't remember if she's Korean or Japanese. I think she's a Japanese Spider-Woman.
Yeah. Not the one with the robot that was in the first one.
But she is also Japanese.
But,
not Penny.
Yeah, not Penny.
So Penny I was Parker. Very disappointed because Silk is one of my favorite Spider-Woman. I know a lot of these Spider-Man and Spider characters from Spider-Man Limited, from the 2018 game. I know quite a bit about the Spider-Verse.
Yeah.
So, regardless. So, while Miguel O'Hara and Spider-Gwen are fighting Vulture from the Renaissance, Jessica Drew gets an intro, and oh my god, it's just as good as 2099.
Yeah, fucking hell. See, I've heard of Jessica Drew, did not know who she was.
This is not the Jessica Drew I'm aware of.
Yeah.
So,
it's just a universe where Jessica Drew is Spider-Man, basically.
No. So, guys, I like this version of Jessica Drew, but it is not the Jessica Drew that we may know from the comics or from the games.
Yeah.
So, the Jessica Drew I know from the comics and the games, well, first off, she's white, but let's not get into that.
Yeah.
That doesn't matter. If they changed her, race,
in this situation.
But it is not the same character.
Yeah, it's just literally a different character.
So, but there are multiple versions of Jessica Drew. That's what I was going to say.
It's literally, there's multiple versions of Spider-Man, and multiple versions of Jessica Drew, and multiple versions of Gwen. So it's not even that big of a deal in this case.
Version I know, first off, she can fly. She has a glide suit. She can create venom blasts.
Yeah.
And, what is it? I can't remember. I think she might be. She's also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent.
Yeah. In this situation, she's just a biker.
She's a biker, but it's good.
It's really good.
I like this version of Jessica Drew because I've never seen this version of her. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, yeah, she's Jessica Drew.
Yeah.
So, alright. So, they get a good intro. Apparently, Spider-Gwen's father is after Spider-Gwen because...
She's Spider-Man.
Because he thinks that Spider-Gwen killed Peter Parker, even though she really didn't. Yeah. Okay, so...
It's so brutal. The intro... So, for context for this, her father's after her. They show this entire intro of her, this interaction with her and her father, and then she joins she joins the Spider-Verse agency or whatever that he runs. And then they do a hard intro again. So they start the movie out with an intro, then she goes and they do another intro for the movie, and I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, so so what Miguel O'Hara does, and Jessica Drew, other version, not the classic version.
Yeah.
What they do is they fix anomalies, and Renaissance Vulture was an anomaly, so they shoved him back in the portal and sent him back to where he's supposed to be.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, which is great.
So let's talk about Spider-Gwen's universe. How they portray it in the movie is, yes, different from the comics, because there was no Spider-Verse stuff, but they wanted to tie in the Spider-Verse anyway, so they changed the backstory a little bit. So, how Peter Parker dies, that's accurate.
Yeah, I was gonna say,
Like,
that seemed...
that-
I'm pretty sure I remember, like, from the first movie and vaguely from other things.
And how he is also the Lizard,
Yeah.
that is also accurate
Yeah,
from
no.
Spider-Gwen's universe.
That is real. That's completely correct.
What I didn't know is why he became a lizard.
Yeah.
So...
I want to be Spider-Man too. Effectively, just like I want to matter too.
Yeah, that's...
it's so sad.
But I guess I wasn't expecting him to die from being crushed. I didn't know if that was from the original. I think they changed that a little bit.
I think the original movie, she said that happened, or they showed some bit of that.
They showed some bit of it, but they didn't show how. And it seemed like in this version, the lizard got crushed under rubble. It's like
she beat the shit out of him.
Superhuman.
Well, to be fair, he
rubble?
drank one potion, so it seems like it was a temporary thing.
Yeah, maybe the potion did a number on him.
Yeah, so it's like it fucked him up. She fucked him up. Then the building collapsed on him, basically, and he died. Which was sad, but it's not. I failed to catch my girlfriend as she her back broke on the ground.
That's that was what Amazing Spider-Man 2 did. That was kind of accurate to the comics.
Yeah, that was. Here's the problem. That scene was not inaccurate. It just was unsatisfying.
It wasn't portrayed well.
And that's the problem. That scene will never be portrayed well. The best portrayal of that was in the last Spider-Man movie, where they almost did it and then played it off as, oh, we're not actually doing that. That was a better version of it. They are literally incapable of doing that scene justice, because that scene is so emotional. They are never going to be able to do that scene justice.
Because
it's just impossible.
Original Spider-Man dated Gwen Stacy before MJ, and he tried to save her, and what happened in the movie happened in the comic.
Yeah, it was accurate.
Except that I don't think it was Goblin or Electro.
Yeah,
regardless, it was pretty much the same scene.
Yeah. But yeah, they will never do that scene justice in any medium. It just can't be done.
Yeah. So regardless, Miguel O'Hara traps Gwen's father in some kind of containment field.
Basically just saying, yeah, you stay here for now.
And Gwen goes off rather than face her father that found out that Spider-Gwen is Gwen.
Which is weird, because
she calls herself Spider-Woman, but the reason we know her as Spider-Gwen is because that's what...
I was going to say, that's just her official title but in most situations. Yes, but yeah, she's Spider-Woman in her universe.
They call her Spider-Gwen because, it's Gwen Stacy as Spider-Woman. Yeah,
exactly. It's like that. It's more of a thing that's the audience and other Spider-Men know her as, but in her universe, she is called Spider-Woman.
Yes.
So, yeah. But again, there's 17,000 Spider-Woman. So, what do you... Yeah.
So, alright.
But I want to say, the one weird thing about that scene is, so they make a big deal about anomalies in this movie and talking about how it's his job to prevent them because no one else will. And it's okay, that's all well and good, but how is restraining her father in that moment not itself causing an anomaly?
Yeah, they should be causing anomalies by going to other dimensions.
Yeah, how is them showing up not causing one of the things is the Madam Web built creation, the thing that all the Spider-Men go to, the Spider headquarters, is in Miguel's universe in a building.
Yes, that is Miguel's universe. Yeah. He created that HQ.
Yeah, so it's how the fuck does 20 million Spider-Men walking around in a building not cause ultra giant anomalies? Like, I don't know. Like, the rules of how anomalies do and don't form is kind of vague, which is understandable.
I think as long as the Spider-Man don't interact with whatever.
Yeah, as long as they stay in the building.
They can't interact with stuff for an extended amount of time, or else it'll cause an anomaly.
Yeah.
And another word for an anomaly is an incursion. Which...
Well, yes and no.
Yes,
I think they're differentiating them, but yes.
But kind of.
Yeah.
It is kind of the same thing. We'll go over it later. So Spider-Gwen goes off. We cut to Miles Morales. He's in his universe. He's cutting class because
he's Spider-Man.
And we're introduced to the main villain, which I wasn't expecting them to make him the main villain, was Spot.
Yeah, never heard of this guy.
I have. I know of this character. But I didn't know him to be on this level of, like, threatening.
Well, I think that's the point. The point is, he's not supposed to be. He's supposed to be a garden everyday villain. And it pisses him off that he's a garden everyday villain. And so he decides to do something about that.
Like, no, I actually just never knew Spot as a villain at all.
Oh, he's just not normally a villain at all.
If he is, he doesn't stay a villain long.
No.
Like,
he's basically a sentient portal gun.
Yeah, so maybe Spider-Man Miles Morales' Spot is different than the normal Spot
that's the interesting thing about this entire situation. Because they're talking to Miles at one point about, like, the universe, and they talk about all the different, like, scenes of, like, Uncle Ben dying, or X person dying, or Gwen dying, or Spider-Man. So it's like, we have this understanding that, like, every Spider-Man story is different. So it's like, it's not even abnormal for them to have different villains, or different versions of different villains. Like, for example, one of the Doc Ocks is female, which was the last movie.
But that's also accurate to Miles Morales' universe.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. So it's like, yeah, in some universes, Spot is not a villain. In some universes, he's going to be a very consequential villain. And in this universe, he's a multiversal threat.
Which is more or less accurate, because I think he does have the power to travel between dimensions. Yeah, I think that is accurate.
He's literally just every Spot everywhere. Like, I don't exactly know how to describe his powers. It's just like he just makes portals everywhere. And every win.
So Spider-Man's fighting him, and apparently this version of Spot was created by Miles Morales when the portal reactor exploded in the first movie.
I like how he blames Miles for that. She's like, I was in that building when it blew up. And it's like, how is that my fault?
I didn't know.
Like, yeah, I didn't know to save you. I didn't know you were there.
Kingpin's fault.
Yeah, like, let's blame Kingpin on this, because he was the one doing this.
Yeah, he's the one who made the thing in the first place.
You accidentally threw a piece of, like, toast or an apple or whatever the fuck they said at me in that one scene, and I hate you now. Fuck you. You caused my death. I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. So, obviously, Miles Morales isn't sure what he wants to do in his life. And while he's fighting Spot realizes something. I can travel the multiverse. Interesting.
More accurately, he beats himself into himself.
He beats himself.
He kicks his own. He literally kicks his own ass into his own portals.
In this movie. It's so good. Both me and older bro were the only ones who bursted out laughing.
It's good. Yeah, we had a surprisingly dead theater.
Yeah, we were the only ones reacting to anything.
There was like maybe 10 people in the whole theater. It was very dead. It was just like, what the hell?
What's wrong with you?
Yeah, it was good.
So, I like how they go to... So, Spot goes to various different universes. First universe he sees is the original classic issue 1 Spider-Man universe, where he gets slapped by a paper bag. from a comic book. That's not a joke. Like, literally, a comic lady slaps him.
Yep.
And then he ends up in the Venom universe with the cashier lady. He's like, okay, like,
does this kind of shit happen to you all the time? And she just stares there.
She just stares at
nothing. Says,
yeah.
Okay, was that, to be clear, was that an actual just straight up shot from the original movies that they just cut in?
No.
That was new scene?
New scene.
I couldn't tell if they literally
guys,
just cut Venom out of a scene or somebody out of a
They
scene.
have pretty much confirmed that the animation universe will cross over. In fact, has crossover
for a good
with the
5
live-action
seconds.
universes.
Yeah, for a good 5 seconds.
So I'm wondering what...
Well, and also, who was the...
Like, is Miles Morales going to be animated in the 616 universe when he crosses over to the MCU? Like, how's that going to work?
I think so, because that's how it works in reverse, doesn't it? Like,
they're live action in the cartoon universe, so they must be...
So, yeah, it has to work in reverse. But, the one thing that's interesting to me is that they were showing off some of the people they captured who were, like, anomalies, and one of them was the Vulture or something from another universe.
Yeah,
they
had various...
Yeah, they had various different people. But was the guy who was very much a 3D actor, was that just...
That was Prowler from the 616 universe MCU.
I was like, hold on, wait a minute.
Yeah, so he became Prowler in secret from the MCU, apparently, and he accidentally got monomalied out of there.
Yeah, I was just like,
I think he's just there for a cameo, but it seems like he's getting ready to be sent back.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering if we're going to finally see him in his full suit.
I don't know.
In the next Spider-Man movie.
But yeah, I saw that and was like, what the? Wait a minute, what?
But anyway, so... Spot eventually realizes he needs more spots, and he makes more reactors, blowing himself up, and gets him more spots and makes him more powerful, which I wasn't expecting him to get more powerful that way. So that was new.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it made sense once they talked about it. I'm like, oh, okay, I get it.
Anyways, so after Spot sort of leaves the dimension and comes back without Miles Morales noticing, Gwen pops in and says hello from, the first scene that you see in the first trailer of Spider-Man verse. So they obviously catch up, but she...
Sort of.
Yeah, she said hi to him real quick, but she was there on a mission.
Yeah. She showed up on a mission, stays a little bit longer than she should have on her non-mission, and fails to capture the villain, because Spot, which causes problems.
Yeah, so she portals away after investigating the scene, which with a very, very nice gadget. Like, that was a really good scene.
Yeah.
And unknowing to her, Miles Morales follows her.
I cannot believe she didn't know. Like, it's surprising to me, because in the first movie, didn't some of the Spider-Men still know he was there when he went invisible a couple times?
So here's an interesting thing about Spider-Man and Spider-Women.
Yeah.
And I don't know why they have not addressed this yet.
Yeah.
That spider sense that they have,
mm-hmm.
I think it's every time it goes off, they're kind of on the same wavelength.
Yeah, exactly.
They can basically sense each other from the spider
So it's
sense.
like, I literally don't understand how he could have been 3 inches from her face and she not know he was there.
As long as he did not attack her, provoke her in any way, she would have not sensed him.
It's like, that's bullshit.
So, can he do that? Is that a legit scene?
Yes, but it's like, it is shocking to me that she did not think, I left him on the roof and walked away. I know Miles. I know he's the kind of guy who would follow me. I should make sure he didn't follow me.
Yeah.
So
it's like, during all this, Spider-Gwen actually meets Miles' parents.
Which was
simultaneous.
It was great, but it was also tense.
Yeah, they were trying to figure out while Miles Morales was gone so much. You know why?
I think they know why. They're assuming that she's taking him off somewhere and
doing stuff.
Yeah.
Bad stuff.
A lot of stuff.
But
probably all over her face.
Yeah, regardless, so we get portaled into our first dimension, which is Spider-Man India's dimension, who I actually don't know. I've never heard of this Spider-Man. I've not even played Spider-Man Unlimited and seen him in it, but oh my god, he is one of the best Spider-Man I've ever met.
I loved the fact that in a universe that the only introduction we have to is just, it is India. I'm assuming the implication is that India took over the world, or that, like, it's just a universe where India is, like, one of the most important countries on the planet, and this is Spider-Man from this universe. Like, they specifically still make a joke about how this is the place where the British stole all of our shit, and it's like, oh, good to see the British are still stealing all of India's shit. Even in this universe, the British steal all of India's shit.
Let's take a pause for a minute, and let me talk to you about what Spider-Man are usually in the same universe.
Yeah.
The Spider-Man that are usually in the same universe, 616 universe, is Peter Parker.
Sure.
Spider-Woman, Jessica Drew.
Yep.
Sometimes Spider-Kitty, which we saw.
Yep. Spider-Kitty with his spider hairball.
Sorry, guys. It's hard to remember all.
Spider-Gwen.
No. Spider-Gwen has never been in the same universe. I
don't know. I'm out of Spider-Man characters.
I lost the whole thing.
Spider-Man,
anyway,
Jessica Drew, Spider-Kitty.
There's usually about 5 Spider-Man that could be in the same universe. Anyway, it was supposed to be led up to the Scarlet Spider, not Ben Reilly's Scarlet Spider. I'm talking about Spider-Man's clone, Scarlet Spider. Yeah. And he's not in the movie either.
Nope.
So those are usually the Spider-Man that are within the same continuity. It's usually those. There was another one, but I've already forgotten which one it was.
Yeah.
So they like to say that they follow the comics, and they don't follow it to a T.
Here's the thing. That's one of the things
that's the biggest lie the MCU has.
No, that's the thing. The MCU didn't lie about it, because the MCU specifically said they aren't going to follow the comics.
They have a different interpretation of it.
Yeah,
and that's what Spider-Verse is.
Their view of things is that the comics themselves don't follow the comics. Like, that's just factual. If you are a person who thinks that the comics are like the epitome of canon, no, they are not. The comics violate their own canon. That's why they have different versions of Spider-Man and different reinterpretations. Like, classic Golden Age Spider-Man is a completely different character from Silver Age Spider-Man. And it's the same for every single fucking superhero. They reinterpret themselves all the time, and every one of them is a different universe.
Yeah, what's also
that's the genius of the multiverse.
So I do have one question for this movie.
Yeah.
Why is it that when the Spider-Man travel to another dimension that they become glitchy, when in the MCU that's not a thing?
Good question.
Like,
because it's a plot device.
Maybe it's because it's a different kind of traveling.
Yeah.
Experience.
Yeah.
Like, the downside of traveling Miguel O'Hara's way, you get glitchy. But if
the
you
problem
travel
is
in
that
the
other Spider-Man didn't travel in Miguel O'Hara's way. They got thrown into in the original movie, none of them were there because of Miguel O'Hara's method. They just fell through a dimensional rift, basically.
And they weren't glitchy. But
well, no, they were glitchy.
The Vulture was.
Yeah, they were glitchy eventually. By the end of the movie, they were glitchy.
Yeah.
So that's the point. So it's like there's, for some reason in this, here's what I think's going to happen.
It's going to be weird for the MCU.
Well, no, here's what I think's going to happen. I think the way they're going to handle this is they're going to handle this in a similar way to Rick and Morty. Now, this is a little bit of spoilers if you haven't seen all of Rick and Morty. I'm going to try to be as general as possible. The way that the universes work in Rick and Morty is there were an infinite number of them that all have different outcomes. There's an infinite number of universes, like, of basically every single type you can think of. But in Rick and Morty, they also have the Council of Ricks. The Council of Ricks do not govern every universe. They only govern the universes where Rick is the most intelligent person in the universe. And they actually separate those universes from every other universe. So there are universes out there where Rick Sanchez is nobody. And he doesn't matter. He is not smart. There's universes where Morty is smarter than Rick. We don't see those universes because Ricks keep those universes away. And I think a similar thing's happening here. I think that the Miguel O'Harris group is a different group than the Madam Web group. And I think there's different universes that fall under Miguel O'Harris and Madam Web. And so in the next movie, we might literally see Madam Web with Madam Web Spider-Man that don't have this glitchy effect.
Yeah, normally Madam's Web's crew does consist of the normal Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Believe it or not, a version of Spider-Man that has the Venom suit.
Yeah.
And 2099.
Yeah. So, but the way I want to look at this is like, I think that they're going to find out that there are universes where that glitchiness just doesn't happen. That's only certain universes.
But, yeah, anyways, so we're in Spider-Man India's world. Spot's there. He is going to the place where they made the dimensional portal machine.
Which is the same company in every single universe, apparently.
Yeah, and
it's always the Kingpin's company.
Yeah, he's absorbing all of these explosions to make himself more powerful. He eventually gets his wish, but that's later.
Yeah.
So while they're trying to prevent Spot from getting to this machine, we see Spider-Punk, who is of the main cast. I'm like, oh my god, yes!
He's a punk rocker, man.
What I wasn't expecting was he's a little British.
Yeah. Okay, here's the really weird thing. So there's a big spoiler in this movie, which we've not gotten to yet. We'll get to it. The way they kept talking in this movie, because they mention, Spider-Gwen mentions that sometimes she crashes in his universe. I assumed the thing they were gonna, like, bring up was that they were a thing. And that the whole movie was gonna be him being uncomfortable that Gwen had been with a different Spider-Man or something.
No.
But that's not a thing in this. Even though they keep implying that. They keep suggesting, like, that they might have been. But it's not. It is not a thing.
Yeah, Spider-Punk actually agrees with Miles Morales. He's like, I quit by the end of this. Like,
yeah, which is great.
Spider-Punk, he is amazing, and I love how they did his
character. He's a rebel anarchist who doesn't like labels, which means he doesn't call himself a rebel anarchist, because I'd be labeling himself.
What I didn't know about Spider-Punk was he's African-American. I'm not even sure he's ever
taken off his mask. Then you can't disprove his ethnicity.
So... But I also thought he was a New Yorker, which maybe
he might have moved to New York. He might be from the U.S., but he's in New York.
Yeah. Speaking of like British Spider-Man, no, Spider-Man UK is not in this film. Again, if he is in the background because I did not.
Yeah. Here's the thing.
At all.
When they go to Miguel O'Harris's building,
universe, you see all these Spider-Man.
Oh yeah, there is probably over. Like 1,000 Spider-Man in this movie that are animated in the background. That some of them they do pop-ups throughout the movie. Some of them are just showing off the numbers of what universe they're from and who they are.
Yeah, and I'll try to go over all of them that I spotted and that I know.
Yeah, because there were a ton. So you are going to miss some, but there's a lot of great references in this, and they do show off at some point or another every single person from the first movie in this movie somewhere. So
okay. Anyways, so they battle Spot with now Spider-Punk there.
4 Spider-Men at this point.
They fail, Spot gets away, and they then travel to Miguel O'Hara's universe. So while going to Spider-Man 2099, obviously there's all these cameos, and I will probably start going over them after I go over this. The cages. I want to talk about the people in the cages.
Yeah.
So yes, we talked about Prowler, the live action Prowler. We finally see him and they call him the Prowler. I'm like, yes!
Yep. A generic Rhino.
That's actually not inaccurate.
No, it's just literally a Rhino.
Because I think that generic Rhino might be from the Spider Kitties universe. I can't remember.
He's the Rhino where he's literally a Rhino.
God, who else did I see that was really important? There was several variations of Rhino. There were several variations of Doc Ock.
Have we seen the Spider-Man? Like the Spider-Man where he's actually a spider?
No, he was not in this film.
Yeah, which was sad.
So that is Savage Spider-Man, and he is not in this movie. Very disappointing because he was one of my favorite in the Spider-Man Unlimited game.
Yeah. All the ones we get are great. So don't get us wrong. They're all great. But...
Yeah. So we get Peter B. Parker back. I think that's the Spider-Man from... I can't remember. Is Spider B. Parker the one that dies or from Miles Morales'
No,
universe?
I think Peter B. Parker was the one from the last movie who was struggling with his relationship. Let me confirm.
Okay, guys, so we looked it up.
We have discovered the truth.
Yeah, so apparently both of them have the middle name Benjamin, which I don't think is accurate.
Yeah, but the one in the first movie that was from Miles Morales' universe was just referred to as Peter Parker, and the one referred to as Peter Benjamin Parker,
which is the 616 universe Parker.
Yeah.
Which is not true for the movies.
So we looked up Peter Benjamin Parker, the one that's in this first movie and the second movie, who's alive. He is apparently from 616, according to Sony. So that's why they keep insisting 616 is not the MCU.
Miguel O'Hara and Doctor Strange's girlfriend from that one universe, I think they both just have a different viewpoint of how they see reality. He covers the Spider-Verse, which might have a different numbering system than the normal multiverse. And they show them as separate, kind of.
Yeah, so let's say it this way. They're both 616. Fuck you. If you think that doesn't make any sense, neither's any of this shit. I don't know.
They're different in a way. So, anyway, guys, as we're leading up to Miguel O'Hara, I cannot remember everybody who is trapped. There's just several variations. But as we are looking at these variations, we see Spider-Man from the games.
Oh, yeah.
Insomniac Spider-Man.
Yeah, they even put on the screen Spider-Man from Insomniac Games. They explicitly refer to him as Insomniac Spider-Man, which is like, what?
Which is funny because in a scene when we're looking at Miles Morales for the first time in this movie, he first plays Spider-Man 1, and then he's playing Spider-Man 2, the game coming out.
Yep.
In a later scene, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So he must have beat 1, and now he's on 2.
Yep.
So good.
Yeah. It is so weird.
So, okay, guys. Now we're at Miguel O'Hara, and he is explaining how he traveled the multiverse, and he found a reality where he died, and he replaced himself.
So he pulled a Wanda. Or he tried to pull a Wanda.
He successfully pulled a Wanda.
Congratulations, Wanda. Spider-Man is better than you.
However, it ended with the reality destroying itself. Because...
too many incursions. Basically.
That's what I was getting to.
Yeah.
So, guys, they call this... What do they call this? A glitch?
They don't refer to it as glitches.
It's anomaly.
Yeah, anomaly.
So he created an anomaly and it destroyed the universe. Basically, an anomaly in the Spider-Verse is the equivalent of an incursion. So he goes to this universe, he replaces himself, nothing's bad happening yet, and then it destroys itself. So incursions are different than... Here's why they're different than anomalies. Anomalies just will break that universe and it will destroy itself. An incursion is when two universes collide.
Yeah.
2099 being in this alternate 2099 universe kind of made an incursion, but not really.
The way I'll describe it is...
incursioned itself.
Yeah, an anomaly is something that can cause the destruction of a universe from within, and incursions are destructions from without. It's two universes that are hitting each other and destroying themselves.
Yes.
So
they're pretty much two different things. It's almost like time travel bullshit. So, anyways, so as 2099 is talking to Miles Morales, he basically says a lot of us would not be here if it wasn't for Uncle Ben or somebody dying. And normally, the people who die is Uncle Ben or the captain of the police force. And Miles Morales puts two and two together. He's like, oh no.
Yeah, because, for the context of this, in the previous world, in Spider-Man India's world, they prevent that scene from happening.
The captain scene.
Yeah, because the captain doesn't die. And neither does his girlfriend. So they both live. I feel like the world would have been fine if one happened. But neither happened.
I'm curious to what happens in that universe now.
Yep.
Because I don't know if they're going to allow it or...
Well, who's even the they we're talking about in this case? Because
2099
is 2099 going to allow it? Is the universe going to allow it?
Anyway, so while they're showing off all these scenes of Spider-Man hugging Uncle Ben or the police captain, they show the live-action scenes from Amazing Spider-Man, from Sam Raimi, I think also MCU briefly.
Yeah, MCU showed up in there.
So
Did they show off? They showed off. Yeah, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man.
Yeah,
showed off Amazing Spider-Man.
That's Sam Raimi.
I swore there was a fourth one they showed off that I couldn't recognize, but I can't remember what it was.
They showed off a lot of the cartoon Spider-Man as well.
By the way, they showed off the Lego.
They have
Spider-Man,
the Lego Spider-Man. He's like,
great.
You're one of the best.
Yeah,
I'm like, fucking yes.
Did in that scene? Did he say? Because he was talking to his boss. And there's like, get me pictures of Spider-Man. Yes, sir. I swear he said under his breath, God damn it, I need a raise.
Yeah. Also, I like how every version of J. Jonah Jameson is.
Yeah. Every single one is the same voice actor. You cannot replace him. He is he's irreplaceable.
Beautiful.
He's gonna die one day, and no one's gonna know what to do with him.
I know.
How do you replace J. Jonah Jameson's voice actor?
It's funny because there is also a version of J. Jonah Jameson that becomes Spider-Man.
Yeah. Oh, also, so I didn't know about this, and I think I've talked about this on camera. I can't remember. So I kept seeing scenes from something where there was a main character who looked like J. Jonah Jameson. He was literally drawn to look like J. Jonah Jameson. And
You're probably thinking of Omni-Man.
Yes. No. I am thinking of Omni-Man.
Because
which
is
is
the same voice actor.
Because he is J. Jonah Jameson's voice actor.
Yeah, we found that out.
Yeah. Because, they were literally inspired by that guy. And we're like, no, we want to make you a superhero. And it's like, yeah, sure, absolutely.
Let's do it.
I want to play as Spider-Man. Well, you can't play as Spider-Man, but we'll give you something that's sort of Superman-like. Good enough.
But again, we could see Jonah at some point.
That's the thing. I literally didn't know that wasn't DC or MCU. I swore it was one of them. No, it's a third-party company.
Third party. Yeah. That's from the Invincible universe.
Yeah, and I was like, I saw that and I was like, wait, what? So, yeah, did you guys know that there's a independent comic book universe that's outside of the DC and MCU and has J. Jonah Jameson play a superhero named Omni-Man?
Yeah, I can't remember what that universe is called, but regardless.
Sorry that we keep calling the voice actor for J. Jonah Jameson.
So,
J. Jonah Jameson. It's because I constantly forget J.K. Simmons' name and just call him J. Jonah Jameson.
So anyway,
I could call him Cave Johnson instead.
So Miles Morales puts 2 and 2 together, and he realizes, oh shit, my father is gonna die.
Yep.
Prowler doesn't usually die. It's usually his father. That's what was different in the Miles Morales
Here's the thing I was gonna say.
Universe.
Because that's one of the things that in this movie, Miguel O'Hara constantly is complaining about, like, says, like, oh, well, it's inevitable. These are canon events. You must have this thing happen. And it's like, but he already had Spider-Man die and his uncle die. How is that not sufficient?
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand the concept of, like, oh, but, like,
I'm wondering
why
if
is that not good enough?
Gonna realize that.
Yeah, no.
Also, I'm wondering if we'll see 2099's white suit in the next movie.
That would require him to.
I hope
that would
so.
require him to earn that white
is
suit.
One of the best, like, suits
He has not
seen
earned the white suit yet.
War. So, anyways, let's go over all the Spider-Man that are chasing Miles Morales.
So yeah, for context, Miles Morales determines that no, it is wrong for Spider-Man to not try to save someone. Like,
I mean, look at what the MCU Spider-Man tried, and he technically successfully did,
but he didn't save Aunt May.
No.
So, which, yeah, that was sad. But that's the point. He is going to try with every bit of his power to save his father, and we'll see what happens.
I'm gonna say he's gonna fail because Miles Morales' Spider-Man, normally his father dies.
Yeah.
Like, that is just a thing. What doesn't really happen is Prowler dying.
Yeah.
That was new. So
I'm worried they're gonna make his mother die.
So every Spider-Man is chasing him, so
yeah. Including, obviously, Miguel O'Hara.
Let's ignore my list for now, because I have to literally have a list of these Spider-Man so I can explain who they are.
Yeah, he's completely forgotten. Like, he doesn't know enough of Spider-Man.
And also,
like,
not all the Spider-Man are on this list. Yeah. So the ones that are not on this list that I knew of that I saw was Spider-Kitty. Spider-Kitty was...
Spider-Kitty chased him.
Great.
Let's say it this way. All the Spider-Men start out chasing him in this movie. Except for Spider-Punk, who checks out. He literally quits.
Yeah, Spider-Punk checks out. He's gone.
But every other Spider-Man at least starts out chasing him that is there.
Yeah, Spider-Punk, believe it or not, was on Miles Morales' side from the start.
And
because I think he heard a lot about him from Gwen, so he's like, I like this dude.
we'll get into that later. Because a lot of people really look up to Miles Morales in this movie. Like, not even just the normal, he's Spider-Man, and everyone looks up to Spider-Man, but this movie goes out of its way to explain that, like, even other Spider-Men look up to Miles Morales, and that may sound like, there might be a lot of people who look at that and roll their eyes and say, like, oh, why is he special? We'll get to that.
Oh, yeah, and before the chase happens, Peter B. Parker shows up, obviously, while he's talking to Miguel O'Hara. His child.
With his child, so Spider-Kid.
So, Spider-Baby, honestly, I was never expecting that. I think that is a completely brand new character.
Yeah. Hold on. What's the universe where Spider-Man makes a deal with...
Mephisto.
I'm quite worried that he might become the Mephisto universe.
So, the Mephisto universe is a completely different universe than 616.
Yes, but...
So, in that universe, what happens is he needs to save his girlfriend.
Yeah.
Was unable to, so he makes a deal with Mephisto to kind of time travel.
Yeah, it's
but
weird.
Just before he meets Mephisto, he sees this girl. He's like, what is she running from? Anyway, he just ignores her, and Mephisto appears. He makes a deal with her. Sorry, makes a deal with them.
Yeah.
He makes the deal, and then he later finds out that after he has finally saved his girlfriend, he finds out that the girl he saw was his future daughter.
Yeah. So,
and now he has prevented her birth.
Yeah.
Because of the deal he made with Mephisto.
Now, I don't quite understand how that's possible.
And
unless the daughter was from a different woman. Like, because the girlfriend died, so, like, how could she have been born afterwards?
it was just like a future vision in a way.
No, I get that, but I'm just saying, like, in the Mephisto universe, that child has to be from a different woman than the girlfriend who died, right? Because, like, there's no possible way that future daughter could have been born when his girlfriend was dead and unable to give birth.
It was from
like, so like that's what's never made sense to me about that, because I've had this explained to me multiple times, and it's like, how could she have been ever born? The girlfriend died, she couldn't have given birth then, now she's alive. I don't understand how. I get that it might have prevented it in some way, but the only way it could have prevented it is if it was with a different woman, right?
Actually, I don't know if Spider-Man time travels. I think Mephisto just revives the girlfriend, and that, for whatever reason, the deal prevented his future daughter
but it's
from
like,
being
but how
born.
is she gonna be born anyways?
Anyway, that leads to Spider-Man getting his black suit that we see in the 2018 games, where Black Cat made a Spider-Man suit for him.
Yeah.
No, that's from the Mephisto universe.
So, but anyways, yeah, as seeing her, I was like, oh, she's cute. Please don't kill her.
I loved her. She is so good. I was not expecting her to have powers, but of course she did.
Of course she did. I shouldn't have built a web shooter for her. That was my biggest mistake.
Oh my god,
that was a mistake.
So
Definitely a
good.
mistake.
Anyway, so all the Spider-Man, their mother.
Every Spider-Man and their mothers are chasing
him.
Their mothers are not chasing him down.
Freaking Spider-Rex.
Spider-Rex shows up. It was great.
I was like, yes! Yes! So, I don't know too much about Spider-Rex. I actually just recently found out about Spider-Rex. I know nothing about it.
Yeah.
So
Spider Horse and his boy shows up.
I want to talk about that. So, what is it? Web Shooter, I believe his name is. He is kind of a fan favorite, but he hasn't seen a lot of love.
Why does the horse have a mask?
Spider-Man Unlimited.
Yeah.
Why does the horse have a mask?
To
Pretty much
its identity.
The reason he gives in the movie is the reason he gives in the comics.
But it doesn't make sense. Who can identify a horse by face?
Yeah, so
it's a fucking horse. You're gonna identify it because it's a fucking horse. Who has a horse?
Fucking loved it. So, we also see the Spectacular Spider, and the Spectacular Spider was the newest animated TV show with, you remember Drake and Josh?
No.
Right, you haven't seen Drake and Josh.
Nope.
Anyway, the guy who played Josh in that show voiced Spectacular Spider.
Sure.
Wait. No, I got that wrong. That was Ultimate Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Anyway, we don't see Ultimate Spider-Man, but we do see Spectacular Spider, which is the newest show. I can't remember for the life of me who does his voice acting. There was a couple other animated Spider-Man, like classic Spider-Man from the 2018 games and from the comic book. There's so fucking many.
Yeah, so many.
So
it's an insane number. By the way, before we continue, we do have to talk about the elephant in the room. It's not a literal elephant. So, Miguel O'Hara, obviously, they're chasing Spider-Man, so he alerts every Spider-Man in the entire building and says, hunt down Spider-Man, and everyone does the scene.
Everybody does the pointing scene. I'm like, yes.
It's like, no, Miles Morales.
Yeah. So comic book Spider-Man also goes after Miles Morales. He's like, I can do that too. Oh god, that's so hard to do.
Oh no, I failed.
Okay, so there is one Spider-Man that I noticed that I want to talk about. So there is, when they're talking to Miguel O'Hara and after or during when we see Spectacular Spider-Man, I noticed a Spider-Man in the background that I noticed, which was a version of the Bulletproof Spider-Man, but as a woman. I've never seen Bulletproof Spider-Woman. That was new. I'm like, okay. There was also a version of Spider-Woman that sort of had a Venom suit, but I recognize her because I've seen her before. I think it's Jessica Drew in an alternate reality where she has orange hair. I think that might be the Venom version of her. By the way, we don't really see Venom. We don't see Carnage.
No.
Like, we
That's
get
the thing.
nods to
This
them.
movie isn't really about other people. It's about Spider-Man.
But Venom usually is a part of the Spider-Verse as well.
Well, yes, but...
because he's a Spider-Man, in a way.
Well, that's the thing. He's another symbiote, and he's very closely related to Spider-Man. But every person in this movie, except for Spot, is a Spider-Man. Like, Spider-Gwen is still Spider-Man. She is that universe's Spider-Man. Venom is not his universe's Spider-Man.
There is a version of Spider-Man, though, that keeps the symbiote
Yeah. So
suit.
there is a dark Spider-Man that has the Venom suit.
There are evil Spider-Man, too, and we don't see them.
But that's what I'm saying. So it's like, there are plenty of other universes not in this movie we haven't seen yet, but...
Yeah, again, very disappointing. We didn't see Blood Spider. That was one of them. I wanted to see and Silk. Okay.
Again, they have an entire second movie.
So, Electricity Spider-Man is in it. And that's also a version of Spider-Man of 616. He makes an electric-proof suit to fight Electro.
Makes sense.
Same with the bulletproof suit. That's normally in the same universe as well. Let's see. So, while we were in Spider-Man India's universe, Miguel O'Hara shows up to look at the spot that Spot left behind.
Yeah, we need to contain this.
And one of the Spider-Man that was sent to contain that anomaly was Spider-Man Last Stand. I'm like, I know you. You're not Ben Reilly, but I know you. Oh yeah, Ben Reilly Scarlet Spider is in here, but not the clone Spider-Man Scarlet Spider. He is not in this movie. Very disappointing, because he's a fan favorite as well. So, I did see Mark II armor Spider-Man. He was in the background.
This Iron Spider, basically.
Now, I didn't recognize him at first, but Cyber Spider-Man was also in this movie. They just made him big.
Yeah.
I don't know why they did that. They kind of made him like Spider Hulk.
I was going to say, there was one guy I thought was just Spider Carnage or something. He was basically just a giant, like, hulking Spider-Man.
No, that was Cyber Spider. Like, I do not know why he was like that. Let's see. Okay. Another Spider that was in the movie was Iron Spider, original, classic Iron Spider. That one was in the original. You could see him chasing Miles as well. Spider-Man Armor Mark 1, which is that glittery, sort of bluish version of Spider-Man that looks like he has chest plating. Like that Spider-Man. He was in several scenes, but he was not part of the main cast. You see him walking around the main hub, and you see him chasing Miles. Another version of Spider-Man that we saw was kind of like a Doc Ock version, but it was... I think it was like Spider-Man 2199. It was a more futuristic Spider-Man. He has those Doc Ock arms, but I think he's in a further future than 2099. Anyway, Miles Morales was hiding on his back, which was fucking hilarious. Another Spider-Man that briefly makes an appearance was Bombastic Bagman, which is a version of Spider-Man that joined the Fantastic Four, but didn't have a mask, so he put on a bag and just called him Bagman.
Yep. And
I think that's a different universe. I don't think that's 616. But you can see him briefly chasing Miles. Okay, so chasing Miles Morales, Miguel O'Hara is trying to tell him that he needs to stay here. That way, his father can die or something.
Which I don't understand how that's gonna work either. Like, let's assume it's required. Let's assume his father has to die. But don't all the Spider-Men attempt to save them and fail? That's part of their character development. How is he going to... If part of the story is he has to grow as a character from that death, how would not being there not itself cause a problem?
He has to be there to see him die?
It's like he has to see there to be him die and experience the failure of that. And maybe that's the whole point of this. Maybe in the third movie he is going to die, but he's going to try his hardest and still going to set that scene up. by ignoring what this guy said. But even still, how is stopping him gonna work? How do you think locking him in a room for 2 days until insert Uncle Ben here dies is gonna work?
But
he's not going to grow as a character. He's going to hate you.
But yeah, guys, let us know what Spider-Man you know about and which ones you spotted, because I didn't
That's
see
not a joke,
them
by the
all.
way, guys. Just because he's not making a joke by the word spot.
No, I'm not. Like, which Spider-Man did you see? And if I recognize their names, I will talk about them in the comments section.
Yeah.
But anyway, besides the Scarlet Spider controversy, so it leads to Miles Morales going into this machine that is not Madam Web, who is operated by Spider-Man that uses VR to project herself across multiverses, which is very interesting because I do not know who this character is and I want to know more about her.
Yeah, it actually, the other one, the other article I was looking up actually mentioned her. Spider-Bite.
Yeah, Spider-Bite.
Yeah.
Yeah, Spider-Man Unlimited was also in this movie.
I think you mentioned that one. Didn't you mention that one earlier when you were talking
no,
about...
that was Spectacular Spider.
Yeah,
there was also Ultimate Spider-Man, but Ultimate Spider-Man didn't appear in this
right.
movie.
Okay, sorry. You're right.
I don't know Spectacular Spider-Man was in it. I didn't notice him. The Spectacular Spider-Man, he had kind of like a futuristic look and a cape, but I don't think he was in this movie.
This is not the Spectacular Spider-Man, the animated series, right?
I'm talking about animated series, yeah.
Okay, that guy. Like, I wouldn't call that a very elegant cape, because no cape.
Okay, there are two animated series.
The 2008
That's
animated
the 2008
series.
Version. I'm talking like 80s.
Oh, like really old. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I don't know about that one.
Anyways, so Miles Morales gets into this machine and it sends them to the wrong dimension.
Yeah, because, well, okay. So, is this the part where we talk about the main thing about this movie? I feel like we have to right here.
The main thing about this movie is Miles Morales is the original anomaly.
Yeah. The lore in this movie is that Miles Morales, the spider that bit him, was from a different universe.
Which was true. It was glitchy in the first movie, which explains why.
Yeah, so that spider wasn't supposed to bite him. It was supposed to bite, well, probably Miles Morales in a different universe or someone else in a different universe.
And they called this Spider-Man, they called this Spider 42, which is accurate to the
I believe,
comics.
Well, not only that, I believe it's supposed to be from Universe 42. So, like, that numbering is actually the Spider-Man numbering.
Yes, but
because
also that was the trial number and
well, no, but yes, it was. But when the machine sends him back, it sends him back to Universe 42
because he has Universe 42
so,
DNA.
Yeah, that number is 100% accurate to what universe it's from. Just like apparently 2099 is 100% accurate to its Spider-Man number.
I found that Spider being from a different universe strange because that wasn't in as far as I'm aware in the original material.
Yeah.
I think actual Spider-Woman was in this movie. It's the female,
not Jessica Drew.
Not Jessica Drew, like
original Spider-Woman.
No, not even original Spider-Woman. It's not original Spider-Woman. It's Spider-Woman wearing classic Spider-Man's suit.
Gotcha.
Just as a girl.
Yeah.
So she was in this movie as well in the background.
Yeah. But the main thing about this movie is that the reason why I was saying earlier that, like, it's weird that other Spider-Man look up to him, that's because he is actually a unique entity. He is not meant to be Spider-Man, so he is new uncharted territory for the Miguel O'Hara, like, Spider-Verse. Like, he is not meant to be Spider-Man, and yet he is anyways.
Yeah.
Which kind of puts a wrench in Miguel O'Hara's whole thing about, like, how you can't create these anomalies and shit. Because, like, he is an anomaly. He's an anomaly that doesn't seem to be causing any problems for his universe. Like, his uncle still died. His father still has to die, apparently. So it's like,
Yeah,
or I guess Spider-Gwen might have to die. Because, again, sometimes it's... Well, the reason I'm saying that is because, depending on the universe, it's... The first death is Uncle Ben. And the second death is either Gwen Stacy or...
Gwen Stacy as Spider-Man isn't usually the one that dies.
No.
It's just normal
No.
Gwen Stacy.
Yeah. It's either Gwen Stacy or Mary Jane. Like, one of those would die. So it's basically the father figure dies, and then his girlfriend or his girlfriend's father, the police captain. So the next movie could easily make it be Spider-Gwen that dies instead of his father, which would be fucked up, but they could do it.
I think it'd piss too many people.
It would. Well, I think at this point it'd piss people off no matter who they kill. But yeah, so it's like, that's the setup here, is that they're on the second death, which is supposed to be super impactful, and it's like, who else is going to die that would be impactful for him other than... I mean, I guess MCU Spider-Man...
So, how Miles...
Hold on, was May Parker MCU Spider-Man's first death? Or was that his second death?
No. That's usually...
It's normally his uncle. But was that replacing the uncle? Or was that replacing the second death?
Okay,
I can't remember.
In the MCU, it's wrong. They skip...
I was going to say, they just skip him dying.
They skip him dying so Peter Parker didn't get, with great power comes great responsibility from him.
Yeah, he also wasn't...
So he gets it from May, so they kill off May. May doesn't usually die.
Yeah, but she's basically the stand-in for Uncle Ben.
Uncle Ben.
So, yeah, that was his first, main death then.
Yes, that was...
outside of, I guess, Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man was almost his...
Yeah, it was almost his uncle, father, Ben.
And then it became May.
Yeah. That's really weird in the MCU universe, where Spider-Man was basically his father.
Anyway, so how Miles Morales figures out he's in a different universe is because his mother doesn't know who Spider-Man is.
Yeah. Well, that and his uncle's alive.
Yeah. So
that's weird.
Miles Morales gets knocked out by an unknown, and Spider-Gwen figures out he's also in another universe because he's not in his apartment in his universe. So she forms a team, and it's everybody
else.
Original with Spider-Punk as well.
Yeah, it has Spider-Punk, it has the whole original team, and I think it has a couple other people
has
in it.
Nor, has Ham.
Yeah.
Had
Penny.
one other person, but I didn't recognize them, and also don't remember who they are.
Yeah, but I think it has a couple other people that were...
So,
yeah.
We have Penny here, and Penny also knew about Miles. She was in a previous
that's
scene.
the thing. Every single Spider-Man knows about him, except him. Because that's the thing. They've had meetings about this.
So I do want to talk about Penny a little bit. So Penny, she was very sad in this movie. I loved her redesign when she was part of the new Spider crew. She had this little pink jacket on. I'm like, oh, it's so cute. I want to talk about her suit. Mm-hmm. That suit is reminiscent of her original design in the comics. I was like, yes!
Yeah.
It looks so good. Because in the original comics, it was just a big, huge, hulking suit.
The Hulkbuster Spider-Man.
That's actually a thing.
Yeah, of course it is.
But anyway, I think it's called the Spider Buster.
Probably. But anyways,
regardless, I loved her new suit. I was like, yes. So Spider-Man
really
Noir is with Spider-Gwen, and so while Miles Morales was out, he gets captured by his uncle. He's tied to a punching bag. Yeah. He almost gets hit by his uncle.
Clearly about to get the shit kicked out of him.
What I wasn't expecting was this version of him who was supposed to be Spider-Man didn't become Spider-Man.
Well, that's the thing. I'm not sure it was supposed to be him in this universe.
It is. That was Miles Morales as the Prowler.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. We don't 100% know that 42 in this Into the Spider-Verse universe is supposed to be Spider-Man. We just know that the spider is supposed to bite someone. But it clearly didn't bite them because it bit the wrong Miles Morales or the wrong Peter Parker.
42 usually bites Miles Morales.
Yeah.
So.
It's really
I don't
strange.
think the original Spider ever had a serial number. Usually when it has something to do with a serial number, it is Miles Morales.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. They have to. How do you refer to how do you refer to Miguel O'Hara other than Miguel O'Hara? Or, what was the guy, not Blood Spider-Man.
Ben Reilly.
Yeah, Ben Reilly. How do you refer to him other than by Ben Reilly? You can't call them all Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. They're all Spider-Man and Spider-Woman. And you can't call them. You can't just say Earth 616 Spider-Man because nobody knows who that is. So you have to go by their names. So it's just here's Peter Benjamin Parker, and here's Peter Parker the original, and Gwen Stacy, and probably Mary Jane in one of these universes, and Jessica Drew,
Jane,
who I did also look up while talking about this. So this Jess Drew is not Jessica Drew, or she is based on Jessica Drew, but she's a completely original character for this movie. So this is not from any other universe. She is a new character. So she's a new Jessica Drew for this movie, who's inspired by original Jessica Drew. So we could still see original Jessica Drew at some point, but this is Jess Drew.
Okay.
But yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, she's a great character.
But she's still a great character. I'm not going to complain much.
Yeah, but she is unique to this movie. But
so
it's like you have to call them by their names because how else are you gonna fucking refer to them?
So I'm guessing how they're going to set up the next movie is he has to keep Miles Morales Prowler from replacing himself.
That's what I don't understand, because like that's the thing is they've set up this movie where the next movie for he's in this universe, he can't give Miles 42 his powers. He is Spider-Man, and he literally can't live in this universe because A, he would die, and B, or destroy the universe, and B, because he is from whatever number it's supposed to be, 1610, whatever the number for
1610.
Yeah, so he is from 1610. So it's like, and he is the Spider-Man from 1610 now. They can't resurrect Earth 1610 Spider-Man, so it's like, he is Spider-Man now. So what the fuck do you want? Like, what are they gonna do? Create a new Spider-Man from nothing in that universe? Like, what do you...
I don't know. It's all speculation. So, like I said, the end credit scene, in quotes, says Spider-Man will return, and it's going to be in Beyond the Spider-Verse. I'm like, yeah.
So this is why I was talking about the Rick and Morty bit of like how there's all the universes where Rick is the most intelligent person in the universe. I think the Beyond the Spider-Verse thing is going to do that. There's the Spider-Verse that Miguel O'Hara is, and I think they're going to go beyond that. They're going to have like a new group show up, or literally Gwen's group will become the new group that goes beyond the Spider-Verse.
I wonder if Gwen's group will accidentally find Madam Web.
Could be. But it's like somehow they're going to get into, like, they're going to find the Madam Web Spider-Verse that fixes this.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be something. And I'm interested to see if Miles Morales will end up in the MCU. Because
I don't know.
If MCU characters got in to the Spider-Verse movie animated.
Again, I still say the way that they're handling it is the MCU is canon to Spider-Verse. Spider-Verse isn't canon to the MCU. So Sony is using all the stuff that they can from the MCU in their universe, but it's not MCU. Like the MCU doesn't use it. I still don't
know what Morbius and Vulture are gonna do.
Yeah,
it's gonna be interesting.
Yeah, it's gonna be very strange. So
yeah,
that's
basically
it. Yeah, it's like.
Yeah, again, let us know in the comment section which Spider-Man, Spider-Woman you spotted.
Yeah, but in terms of this movie, it was absolutely great. Loved, like, I loved the interactions between Miles and Spot. They were great.
Reactions with all the characters, like, it's so fucking hilarious.
It's one, and I did, I'm normally not the kind of person who really likes the Okay, maybe it's not true. I have mixed feelings on the whole, like, the Chosen One storyline. I'm usually fine watching it, but it's like, when it's done well. And I think this one was done very well, in that, like, he is Spider-Man, and he shouldn't be Spider-Man. And they just kind of have to deal with that. And it's a movie about, like, other Spider-Men just look up to him because they're just like, yeah, this man isn't supposed to be Spider-Man, but he is anyways. And it's a very, like, I loved the take on this movie. I loved how they handled it, and I'm very interested in how they resolve it. Like, how do they resolve this without making him not Spider-Man? How do they resolve the fact that Universe 42 has no Spider-Man, is literally run by the Sinister Six? How do they resolve Miguel O'Harris and his hate boner at this point for Miles Morales?
I also wonder if they're gonna introduce evil Peter Parker, because in the 2099 universe, he is an evil corporate head.
Yeah.
And he fucks with the Spider-Verse every now and again.
Yeah.
So
it's going to be very interesting, and I greatly look forward to it in the next movie.
all right.
So, okay, guys, that's going to be it for this hot take. It is way too fucking long, because it has been almost 2 hours. So,
It's Spider-Man.
we will come back next time, in fact, next week, with a new movie in this 6-episode summer blockbuster marathon.
We're just getting started.
Yep. So, we will see you all in the next hot take.
Goodbye.